Any other speakers for 1 minute? Speakers for 2 minutes? Come forward to the podium if you can contain your comments to 2 minutes, and the Commission will appreciate your brevity.
I think I can do that. Kevin Beauchamp, I'm representing Central Coast Bride, who helps promote many local wedding professionals and many people in this room for the wedding industry. I was also a member of the South County Advisory Council for many years, and at one point acted as the ag rep for that council. Two issues came up over and over again with that issue was open space and view shed, that they wanted to maintain both of those. I quickly found that I was wholly ignorant of what it took to maintain large ranches and large ag endeavors. And so I backed down for that, realizing that I did not know what it took to maintain that, so I stopped that. I believe that this issue will be counter to maintaining open space and view shed, and I think that we should look at other means to do that. Specifically speaking to the ag ordinance, I feel the ordinance will severely affect the ability to keep open space and will result in the opposite of what is the intention of the ordinance. The local wedding industry brings in approximately $160 million into this industry, and it is a transient population. It's tourism. They come in, they spend their money, they leave. There's not really a better way. You couldn't have dreamed of a better economic model than that, to come and spend your money and then leave again. And I think the impact is minimal on the local community. As far as the issue with the bias, I think that there's at least 2/3 of this council who is biased, and I know that you guys have addressed that before, but I wanted to reiterate it, that we were looking into that, the bias issue and the conflict of interest. And I would request that we pass this ordinance back to the Board of Supervisors and address what it was originally promoted for, by looking at events that are going to affect 3,000 people or more, and maybe do a minor use permit for the Avila Beach Resort. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beauchamp. Additional 2-minute speakers? Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. My name's Ernest Barncastle, and I'd like to speak to the economic impact of this proposal. My bank, myself, and my wife own my small business, Taylor Rentals. We do construction rentals, we rent agricultural equipment, and we rent party and special event equipment. I guess my question to the commission is, why now? In this particular economic time, I think the timing could not be worse for a negative impact upon the people in our industry and supporting industries in the county. You're going to hear this a lot, but I'll just run through a list of people I think will be negatively impacted by this substantially. Hotels, restaurants, car rental, airports, party rental business like myself that's gone from 43 employees last year to 27 this year, full-time. Event sites, caterers, all their employees, musicians, disc jockeys, florists, photographers, people that do engraving and invitations, lighting people, the people that sell at retail wedding dresses, tuxedos, shoes, all the apparel, the wine industry completely. A lot of local wine is consumed at these events. Wedding planners, all local businesses basically, you'll hear other ones, golf and recreational businesses, people that have the wine tour buses and so forth. So I'm going to leave a couple seconds, and I just want to close with, now is not the time, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Barncastle. Mr. Greening, 2 minutes.
Thank you. I am Eric Greening. The previous speaker mentioned musicians. I'm with the New World Baroque Orchestra and the San Luis Klezmorim, and we sometimes do California history events in historic settings, so I certainly understand the importance of events in scenic places and using that backdrop. Nonetheless, I do believe the intent of the ordinance and the format of the ordinance are a very good starting place, and that we do need to protect that very character and not allow it to simply become a tourist zone per se, which could totally change its character for everyone. I think a middle path that could be found would be to tie the numbers not to people. It's nosy counting noses, but to vehicles. That's where the real impact is. The conversion of productive soil to parking, and by all means traffic and surges of traffic on roads not created to serve tourist traffic in surges, but to create the circulation needs of an agricultural population. And we can't afford to keep widening those roads. So I would suggest that as you go through and review, you look at the numbers and maybe even shrink them some, but tie them not to noses but to vehicles, so that there is an incentive for those who are able to get people to carpool, to develop van pools, bring buses in, whatever it takes to reduce the actual number of vehicles, reduce the congestion impact on the roads. Those who just have people coming in single occupant vehicles will by default have fewer people able to enjoy their events. And that's the kind of thing that is part of our strategic growth that we should all be thinking about, making more efficient use of our very expensive circulation system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greening. Additional 2-minute speakers?
I'm Fidelia, and I'm from Mount Olive Organic Farm. And my message is very simple. Is because we don't understand why the wineries, they have like exceptional ordinances, and we are all farmers, and why we have 2 different ordinances. And they grow plants, and their products is different. They produce wine, and we produce other products, but we also have the same ag land. So I think we should have the same ordinance. And here, is this because, I would like to ask, is this a double standard? And also, my suggestion is this law. My suggestion is to eliminate this law, this ordinance, because it's unfair, unjust, and also unnecessary. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nig. Additional 2-minute speakers?
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Weston, and I'm also from Mount Olive Organic Farm. And we don't hold wedding events, but however, we have groups that do come to our farm to be educated how to farm organically. And there are times that we will receive groups that give us certain call, who will come from LA, or they call us from Morro Bay, or they'll be in Cambria, say, oh, we have a group of people, sometimes a busload of people who wants to come and to look at our farm and be educated. And if this event ordinance was to pass, then we will need to apply for a permit. So if that's the case, it will bring great inconvenience to us, and it will also not be beneficial to us. But I believe that, now's the time that we're concerned of health of the public, and we would are more than willing to educate the public how to eat healthily and how to farm organically. So with the ordinance to pass, that will limit us from spending our more times, in the fields than rather to having to run, to apply for permits and such. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weston. Next speaker.
My name is Karen Ng. I'm from Mount Olive Organic Farm. I'm an organic farmer, and I work hard to make a living. I believe all the farmers here work hard for a living. I read through the whole proposal online. I feel that this proposed events ordinance does not benefit or help all farmers or farmland. It only benefits a small minority, maybe like the wineries. So if this ordinance is passed, many small farms and farm-related business will be put out of business. So as Planning Commission, one should work for the good of the people, not against the people. Otherwise, San Luis Obispo County government is no different than the selfish rulers of the poorer nations. You can see so many people here wearing red. If our government is for the people, you will know what to do. That's my message.
Thank you, Ms. Ng.